Hello everyone, I'm Chef Tony over at Elim Park in Cheshire, and this is a new series we're starting called The Chef's Table. And today for our first cooking demonstration, we're gonna be doing a fall harvest salad with butternut squash and quinoa and a maple syrup apple vinaigrette. And I look forward to showing you how we do it. Basically for our first component, we're gonna do the butternut squash. And what you wanna do is you wanna start off with a nice fresh butternut, local if possible. We always try to get as much produce as possible throughout the year at local farms. You want to take it and go ahead and peel it and kind of get to this guy here, which is nice and peeled. And then the key after that is you want to split it in half. So once it's completely split in half, then you'll scoop the seeds out with a spoon. The seeds are actually good if you wanted to save them and clean them, and then go ahead and dry them. And you can toast those and season them, and those are like kind of a nice snack. But basically, what you want to do is you want to cut your bottom hair off. This is kind of like your bulb section. And then your top end is better to make nice uniform cuts. So you'll take it and you'll cut it into nice strips like this. And then that way you can get kind of like some nice cubes, like a nice dice out of it. And we're gonna go ahead and saute these or roast these in a pan. You can also do it in the oven, that's no problem either. But the key is you wanna get a little bit of olive oil going and a little bit of canola oil in your pan. You don't want to get it too hot. You don't want it super smoking, but you want to get a little bit of color going. Get a little bit of sizzle there, and you get that going. And then the other part is the spice, the flavor. So what we have here is a little pinch of chili powder. This part is kind of optional. You can do cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, some nice fall spices. You can do a nice pumpkin spice mix. That's just going to give the butternut a nice fall flavor to it. So you got that nice sizzle going. Now at that point, you can keep cooking this all on the stove, or you could finish it in the oven for about 10 or 15 minutes on 350. Definitely want to get that nice caramelized roasted color on your squash. You want to keep it al dente too. You don't want to overcook it. You want to have a little bit of texture to it still. You don't want to get it mushy, that's for sure. And then you'll get a nice roasted butternut squash. So next up, we're going to make the candied walnuts component of the salad here. And you want to start off with some nice whole pieces. You don't want to get the chopped. You want to get some nice whole walnuts in there. Put a little splash of your canola oil. You get that going, get a little sizzle going on it. The key to this really is you want to add a little butter. You put the oil so the butter won't burn, but you need the butter to kind of coat your nuts. And you get that nice sweetness from the brown sugar that you add to the pan. And again, using that same either pumpkin spice or clove or cinnamon, just that nice really fall medley of spices you want on your nuts as well. And this is also another component where you can finish it right on the stovetop, but you can also go ahead and toast it in the oven. But you'd want to do it on much lower, probably about 275, 300, only for a few minutes. You're really looking for the butter to melt, the sugar to kind of melt and all coat your nuts nicely. So you see how you're getting that nice butteriness and that sugar caramelizing on your nuts. You want to turn your flame down at some point because you don't want it to burn, but you want to get that nice caramelization going. And then after a few minutes, once it's all nice and coated and you smell that kind of like nuttiness from the walnuts getting heated, then you know you're done. And that's it. So next up, we're going to make our apple cider maple vinaigrette to kind of dress our baby greens with. And we're going to use some fresh thyme. We're going to dice a shallot, fresh lemon juice, a little nice fruity olive oil. We're gonna use a nice local farm, very light maple syrup. You don't want anything too dark. You just want that nice sweetness to add to it. And then we'll dress our salad. The first thing we wanna do is we wanna take our shallot, and you just want a little bit, but you wanna finely cut your shallot because you just want a little bit of that flavor in there. So you wanna pretty much mince it. Ideally, you wanna do it with a knife, but certainly you can do it in a little bit of a food processor. There's no issues with that at all. You don't need a lot. You just need a little bit of shallot for flavor. And then that there is gonna go into our bowl. And that's our first step of our apple cider vinaigrette. Next part is we're doing our fresh thyme. You always wanna make sure your thyme is want the stems to be nice and sturdy. And you wanna strip the leaves, the actual thyme leaves off of your thyme sprigs here. You can certainly save all these stems and scraps that you're gonna get from chopping your fresh thyme. Those goes wonderful to put it in some nice chicken broth or vegetable broth that you're gonna make. So you never want to try to waste anything. We try to incorporate everything we have in the kitchen. Very little waste. And the fresh thyme, like I said, you just need a little bit. Just adds a little nice herby background to the vinaigrette that we're gonna do. Other components that we're gonna have is a little bit of lemon juice, and then our nice light maple syrup. So we get the fresh thyme in the bowl. Next up goes the lemon juice. You wanna get that in the bowl. You wanna make sure the lemon juice goes on your shallots, because you want the acid in the lemon to sort of just start to cook the shallots a little bit, soften them up a little. That's what's gonna help make it more palatable when the vinaigrette is actually finished. So this is our nice light unfiltered maple syrup, and see that light amber is what you're looking for. You don't want a really, really dark syrup because you don't want it to overpower the vinaigrette. Once you get that in the bowl, that's kind of your base of your vinaigrette there. That's where you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna put a splash of your apple cider. Again, if you can get a nice local apple cider, that's always better. So now you've got your acid component. You've got your little bit of sweetness from your maple. The maple or the honey would also help as an emulsifier. And then you go ahead and you wanna add your olive oil. You just slowly mix that in. Key to this olive oil, they want like a medium green, but you want it to be very fruity. You don't wanna get something that's highly peppery. It's just not the right flavor profile for this type of vinaigrette. But when you're cooking, you always wanna add a little pinch of salt, and that's totally optional for you. It's completely up to taste. But as a general rule, as far as your acid component and your oil component or your fat part of it, you want it to be generally a 2-to-1. If you like it a little more tart, you add a little bit less oil. If you like it a little less tart, you put a little more oil, and you'll kind of get like a nice broken vinaigrette is what you're looking for. And that's what we're gonna dress our fall harvest salad with. For this fall salad, you want to take a nice apple. Like I've always said, local is better in this time of the year. In Connecticut, in the Northeast, we have great local varieties at many farms and farmers markets. Want something that's slightly sweet, but not overly sweet, because our vinaigrette has the maple syrup in it. But you just want to get something that's going to be firm. A nice Gala apple works great. A Honeycrisp is also awesome, but at the same time, anything you can really have from local is the best. Now that we have all our different ingredients prepared for our fall harvest salad, we have our roasted butternut squash. We have a nice black barley for our salad, as well as a quinoa. Now you can use any grains you would want for that. These two are nice because they add a nice pop of protein. They're some of the highest protein grains you can have, so it makes the salad more of a complete meal. We also have some dried cranberries. We have our candied walnuts, our fresh local apples, our beautiful apple cider vinaigrette we made, and a little pinch of salt for flavor. And then in the bowl, totally up to you what you want to use for baby greens. You can use any of the various mixes you get in the grocery store. I chose a little bit of a nice green kale and baby spinach. I think the sweetness of the baby spinach and a little bit of pepperiness of the kale works very well with all the other components, and we're gonna go ahead and assemble the whole salad. Now we're at our fun part. After we've done all the hard work of cooking all the various ingredients for our fall salad, we're gonna add some of our butternut squash to our bowl with the greens. And this is all optional about how much you want to add or don't want to add. So we've got that. We're going to put some of our nice cooked black barley in, good amount of our quinoa. And the proportions are honestly up to you, you know. Put more if you want, less if you want, totally no problem. Some of our cranberries. And you want to get all the ingredients in the bowl because you want everything to get kind of tossed together with that nice vinaigrette we made. You want everything to have a nice coating on it. A little pinch of salt. Then you just want to make sure you get this mixed. So you want to make sure with your ingredients and your nice vinaigrette, you get everything tossed and fully coated. We have a nice balanced flavor when you go ahead in every bite. And then go ahead and work over to our bowl here. And this is great for like a nice lunch. You could add a piece of grilled chicken or piece of salmon to it if you'd like. Like I said, with the barley and the protein and the quinoa, you've got plenty of protein for it, so you don't really even have to add anything else, but you certainly could. All right, now we have our completed fall harvest salad here at Chef's Table at Elim Park. We look forward to you making it at home and hearing from your comments, and as always, we'll see you at the next Chef's Table.